The Galactic Council chambers fell silent as Ambassador Zekthara's translator finished conveying humanity's response to the ultimatum. 300 species represented in the grand amphitheater, beings of crystalline intelligence, hive minds, spanning star systems and energy creatures older than most civilizations, all stared at the small bipedal figure standing calmly at the center podium. "Let me ensure I understand correctly." Zekthara's voice resonated through the chamber, his forearms gesturing with practiced diplomatic precision. "We have offered your species the opportunity to surrender your mining rights to the Kepler 442 system in exchange for continued existence, and you have responded with—" He paused, consulting his datapad. "A human expression that roughly translates to, 'Bring it on.'" Dr. Sarah Chen, Earth's first interstellar ambassador, adjusted her simple black suit and smiled. The gesture apparently unsettled several of the assembled delegates as nervous chittering and chromatic flashing rippled through the crowd. "That's correct, Ambassador Zekthara, though I believe the actual phrase our president used was somewhat more colorful." High Counselor Vexhar, a towering being of living metal, leaned forward on the tribunal platform. "Human, you do realize that the hegemony controls 1,700 star systems? Our combined fleets number in the millions of vessels. Your species has achieved interstellar travel for barely 50 years. Dr. Chen nodded thoughtfully. "Yes, we're aware of the disparity, though I should mention that 50 years is actually generous. We only achieved reliable faster-than-light travel 37 years ago." A collective gasp swept through the chamber. Several delegates began rapid consultations with their advisors. 37 years? Zekthara's translator seemed to struggle with the concept. "But your expansion rate, your technological advancement, that's impossible." "I'm curious," Dr. Chen said, moving slightly to address the full assembly. "How long did it take your respective species to develop from first achieving interstellar flight to establishing colonies in 50 systems?" The question hung in the air like a challenge. Slowly, answers began to emerge. "The Zephyrian collective required 4 centuries, came one response. "The crystalline hegemony achieved such expansion over 2 millennia, admitted another. "We of the Void Touched expanded across 40 systems in 800 years, and we were considered remarkably swift," offered a being that appeared to be made of living shadow. Dr. Chen smiled again, and this time several delegates actually recoiled. "Humanity established colonies in 53 systems in 37 years. We also fought and won 2 interstellar conflicts during that period, one against the Rigelian pirates and another against the Centauri Trade Syndicate." "Impossible," High Counselor Vexhar declared. "No species advances that rapidly without—" "Without what?" Dr. Chen interrupted gently. "Without pressure? Without necessity? Without someone telling us it couldn't be done?" She walked slowly around the podium, her movements deliberately casual. "You see, there's something you should understand about humans. We have a saying, necessity is the mother of invention, but we have another saying that's perhaps more relevant here. Hold my beer and watch this." The translation system struggled with the idiom, producing a cacophony of confused interpretations. "When the Rigelian pirates attacked our mining colonies," Dr. Chen continued, "they expected us to abandon them. Instead, we invented new weapons. When the Centauri Syndicate tried to strangle our trade routes, they expected economic collapse. Instead, we developed new technologies and found new routes they didn't know existed." She paused at the edge of the speaking area, looking directly at High Counselor Vexhar. "You're operating under a fundamental misunderstanding about human nature. You assume that overwhelming odds discourage us." "Do they not?" Zekthara asked, genuine curiosity replacing his earlier confidence. "Counselor, humanity spent most of its history fighting impossible odds. We lived on a planet that tried to kill us daily. Predators, diseases, natural disasters, climate changes that wiped out entire civilizations. Do you know what we called the beings that survived all that?" The chamber waited. "Tuesday," Dr. Chen returned to the podium. "We've been at war with our own planet for 300,000 years and we won. We fought each other for millennia and learned to turn conflict into progress. We looked at the vast emptiness of space and said, "That looks like prime real estate." "You speak of war as if it's desirable," High Counselor Vexhar observed. "Not desirable, Counselor. Inevitable. And if it's inevitable, we intend to be very, very good at it." Dr. Chen's smile had lost all warmth. "You should also know that while I've been talking, 17 human exploration vessels have been mapping your home systems, not for conquest, for logistics." The chamber erupted. Warning lights flashed on dozens of control panels as delegates frantically contacted their home fleets. "You're bluffing," Zekthara declared, but uncertainty crept into his voice. "Am I? Computer, display current positions of exploration vessels Magellan through Cousteau." A holographic display materialized above the chamber, showing star charts, with 17 pulsing dots scattered throughout hegemony space. Several delegates rose from their seats in alarm. "How is this possible?" High Counselor Vexhar demanded. "Our sensor nets should have detected any intrusion." Dr. Chen shrugged. "You were looking for invasion fleets and military vessels. These ships are basically invisible. They're designed for exploration, not conquest. Minimal energy signatures, passive sensors only, crews of 12. We've been using them to map uncharted space for decades." She gestured to the display. "The Magellan has been sitting 3 light hours from your capital for 6 days, Counselor Vexhar. The Darwin has been cataloging the defensive positions around Zekthara's homeworld for 2 weeks." "This is an act of war," Zekthara shouted. "No," Dr. Chen replied calmly. "This is reconnaissance. Acts of war look different when humans do them." She touched a control on her wrist device. "Computer, show them what an act of war looks like." The display changed, revealing a massive fleet formation holding position at the edge of the system. Hundreds of ships in perfect battle formation. "The third human fleet has been waiting at your system's edge for the past week, just outside sensor range. They've been very patient." Dr. Chen looked around the stunned chamber. "Did I mention humans are also excellent at logistics?" "High Counselor." Vexhar's metallic form seemed to dim. "This was all planned. You came here expecting war. Counselor, we came here prepared for war. There's a difference." Dr. Chen's expression softened slightly. "We'd prefer peace, trade, and mutual cooperation. But we've learned that sometimes you have to be prepared to fight for peace." She looked directly at each member of the tribunal. "So I'll ask you the same question I asked when I arrived. Are you certain you want to declare war on humanity?" The silence stretched for long moments, before Zekthara slowly sat back in his chair. "Perhaps," he said carefully, "we should discuss the terms of a trade agreement instead." Dr. Chen smiled warmly this time. "Now you're thinking like a human."